It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Forum on Eagle Community Television. We get a chance to talk about bands, including marching band, things you wanted to know about Fort Hays State University, because our guest is Lane Weaver, and he's the Director of Athletic Bands at Fort Hays State University. Well, first off, Lane, marching band is a big thing to take care of. The bands at the gym, not quite as big, but you have quite a job corralling a bunch of students at Fort Hays State.
Well, there's a lot that goes into putting a marching band together. A lot that goes into putting any ensemble together, any musical ensemble, whether it's just a few people or 150 people. It takes a lot of coordination, a lot of chance to get people leading and working together. It takes a good effort, but fortunately we've got great students at Fort Hays, and they make my job a lot easier.
Well, what I can tell you, Lane, is you get out there and you're in the stadium, you're in the gymnasium, it sounds great. Your bands sound great, and that's probably the end result of what you want.
That's what we want. Yeah, that's what we want. Carry on that Tiger spirit and represent what we do, represent the Tigers, Fort Hays, at a high quality level. And I think for the students we have, they, like I said, they make my job easier. They're very, very talented. Very, very committed, give a lot of time, and they're a lot of fun to work with.
We'll come back and talk about the bands in just a little bit, but what about your background? How did you end up at Fort Hays State University?
That's a good question. Well, originally I'm from Idaho. I grew up in southeast Idaho, kind of the Idaho Falls area is the biggest town that people hear of once in a while. I went to Utah State University for my bachelor's degree in music education. From there I went on to the University of Notre Dame to do a master's degree. Ended up kind of in a right place, right time sort of situation. Ended up teaching at Notre Dame for 5 years, working with the band program there. Following that, I spent a year in church music in South Bend, Indiana, and then went on to the University of Kentucky where I did my doctoral work. Once that was finished, looking for a job, I kind of had a few connections with some people who knew some people and ended up at Fort Hays.
One of the things I know when you do that, the background, you end up not only playing one instrument, and you told me you played the trombone as your main instrument, but you really get to know the breadth of each instrument and where they go and how they work.
You have to know a little bit about everything, how everything works together, the strengths and the weaknesses of certain instruments, the strengths and weaknesses of certain players. And fortunately with what we do at Fort Hays, we've got some great players all around that really pull us together, and we have strength throughout our ensembles and strength throughout our program, so we're really able to rely on students quite a bit with that.
Students that play and say go out for the football marching band because you did something unique that in the 20-year history of getting to go to a bowl game.
Right.
I've heard some people that have come back from that and they were so impressed that Fort Hays had their band at the bowl game because our opponent there didn't have anybody.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
And so to have a marching band show up at that game and be a part of that really showed what a good group and a good supporting group that we have at Fort Hays State University. What goes in and how much time does it take for somebody to participate in the marching band for football?
With our marching band, we start a week before classes start. We have kind of like a camp week, like your football players come and they have their camp, their football camp before the season starts. We do the same thing a week before classes start. That week, while the students, and especially the freshmen, are transitioning to campus, it's a great way for them to get involved and have a bunch of friends, not worry about freshman orientation and classes right away. Anyway, we take some time to have about 2 or 3 rehearsals a day, 2 a days or 3 a days, depending on our schedule. Put a group together, get to know each other, get to know some music. There's a lot of students that we get who come from very, very strong marching band backgrounds and great high school programs. There's a lot of students that we get that have never set foot on a football field, and that's kind of like I was. So I have a little bit of a heart for those type of students. So we bring everybody together, teach everybody what they need to know, and spend that week really getting ourselves up to speed. After that, it's 2 rehearsals a week for 2 hours each, and we work fast and we work quickly and put together a good product.
So those students that are out there marching around, making it, as they look easy, marching around, they put a lot of time into doing that.
They put a lot of time into it. The nice thing about working with college students is everybody's there because they want to be there. And so when it's time to flip the switch and go to work, we can do that. They've got the maturity to handle that. When it's time to have a little bit of fun and relax and take a break, we're able to do that. But the time that they put in is very, very efficient, very, well, they work very, very quickly together, come together very quickly at the beginning of the season, and just do a great job putting together not just one show, but our pregame show, 3 different halftime shows, and then at the end of the season, if we come back and do another show like we did this year for the bowl game, it's a little bit more time that they put in.
Who puts together the design work? I call it the design when you look out and you form a pattern, a triangle, a tiger, or whatever happens.
Yep.
Do you design that?
I do. That's what we call that our field drill, and I write that as well. And I write the arrangements, the music that they play as well. I put those arrangements together.
Well, all of that takes a lot of coordination, and especially when you're out there trying to play music in March. I was there. I had the Barry sax out for that one, and I could always head out on my own without any trouble. That doesn't work very well.
Well, it does take a lot of coordination, and you have some students who, like I say, who with strong background, and we really lean on those. And we have some students that come in that spend the extra time and get themselves up to speed. And I just think it's really neat to see how we come together at the end of the season. It's like any other team that you put together. You hope that you get a little bit better each week, a little bit better with each practice, and our students do a great job.
Well, Lane, when we come back, I want to talk about the indoor band, the one that we hear a lot when we're out watching basketball. Those kids look like they have a ton of fun. I want to find out about that. Our guest is Lane Weaver. He's the Director of Athletic Bands at Fort Hays State University. Back with more after this from Hays Med.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.
And welcome back to the second half of our Forum program here on Eagle Community Television. If you have any questions, ideas, suggestions, maybe even some solutions for problems that you see out there, send them to me. We like those as well. Gary.Shorman@eaglecom.net. You can find us on Facebook, where you can be our friend at ECTV Forum. At eaglecom.net, our program is brought to you by Hays Med, and our guest is Lane Weaver, and Lane is the Director of Athletic Bands at Fort Hays State University. And Lane, we went into the break talking about that fun band you have in the gymnasium down at Gross Memorial Coliseum, and they just seem to have a lot of fun playing.
They do have a lot of fun, a lot of personality. Really enjoy putting together more shows there, a lot more entertainment. Of course, it helps that our Tigers do pretty well on the basketball court, and we have a couple great teams to support, and they do a great job.
I have a chance to sit close to the band over there, and they do a lot of cheering as well. Even when they're not playing their instruments, they seem to be really engaged in the game, whether they're playing their instruments or not.
They are engaged, and again, that's a little bit of that personality that they have coming out. It's a fun group to play. It's a group that sounds good. Again, some great musicians there. It's a stress reliever for them, to be honest with you. Being and not everybody in there is a music major. But gosh, colleges anymore, it's just so much that these students have to coordinate and put together. So when they get a chance to get together with some friends, support the Tigers, cheer them on, and cut loose a little bit, they do a great job. They really do a great job. And the thing that I really enjoy about them is in their cheering, they're very classy. They're not people that go after people individually or personally. And we always talk about there's a difference between gamesmanship and being a jerk. And we got a lot of students that just enjoy the gamesmanship part of it.
How are you selected for the bands, whether it be the marching band or the band at the gym?
With our marching band, it's a sign up and show up process. We really believe in opening the door as wide as possible to as many opportunities as possible for students. So anybody who's interested, we'll find a place for them in our marching band. Our basketball band is an auditioned group. Those auditions take place about the beginning or middle of October, depending on when the basketball season starts. But we have a regular roster there and some substitute players as well. And most of those people come from the marching band ranks as well.
Well, you have some other duties as well at Fort Hays State University. Tell me about those.
Yeah, I direct our Symphonic Winds, which is one of our concert groups. It's our non-auditioned concert band. I direct our brass choir. I teach our low brass lessons. I teach trombone, euphonium, and tuba lessons. And then, serve on the committees and do all the different things that you do in the academic world as well.
And you've followed some other people as well. Lyle Dilley, who is one who's been part of Fort Hays State. I think you had a special celebration for him not too long ago.
We did recently. Lyle is a legend in Kansas music. He's a member of our Kansas Music Educators Hall of Fame. Celebrated his 90th birthday this last year. And Dr. Jeff Jordan, our other band director, who's a very, very fine composer, wrote a brass piece for him in celebration of his birthday. It's a piece that actually won an award from the Dallas Wind Symphony, and we're going to be taking our brass choir down to Dallas to perform that up in, I guess, in the end of March.
So we talked about the marching band, we talked about the basketball band. You have, like you mentioned this, how many other groups do you work with?
Well, I work with our concert band, our brass choir, but there's also just a bunch of other groups. We have an auditioned concert band called the Wind Ensemble that Jeff Jordan directs. In addition to our brass choir, gosh, we've got clarinet choir and flute choir, of course, our 2 jazz bands under the direction of Brad Dawson. And the thing about these different ensembles is we have similar students, a similar group of students that make up all these different ensembles. So we don't have specifically a marching band set of students and then a pep band set of students and a jazz band set. These are students that do all these different things, whether in the gym, on the field, or in the concert hall. They're really, really busy. They're a member of a bunch of different teams working together for our music program.
So if you like music, if you like band instruments, if you like that part, there's not only the basketball and football, but there's all sorts of performances. They kind of go on year round.
Year round. And then we also have some of our instrumentalists that perform in our choirs as well. So they're very, very busy students.
Let's talk about students that want to be involved, because I know there's a big band camp during the summertime that gets high school students involved in band, maybe even younger than that. I'm not sure how young that goes.
Yeah, we start with people who've completed 6th grade on up through high school.
And so it's a chance to get them into the program, invite them in, because I know that's what not only builds the program, but in marching band, you need a good group of people. You can't have 10 people in marching band. That doesn't work.
It's good to have some resources. Yeah, it's good to build those ranks.
What age do you suggest a student learn?
Well, as soon as a school district's able to pick up their instrument or sing. In fact, our camp in the summer not only works with band students, but also orchestra students and choir students as well. So as soon as a young person has an inclination to play or sing, boy, you got to foster that.
What age did you start?
I started on piano actually when I was in the 3rd grade, and I picked up trombone for the first time in 7th grade, and been doing music ever since in one way, shape, or form.
Is that one of the things that your parents help get involved with too, and encourage you in different areas? Because I think that helps as well if your parent is supportive and saying, hey, the importance of playing music across your career, it can be a lifetime type of thing.
It really, really is. You know, parental support is so important, whether it's in music or academics or just in life. Parents can have such a big, strong influence in a student's life. And for me, they were just wonderful in my life.
Well, we mentioned Lyle Dilley, who had his 90th birthday. 90th. And my guess is he still can get out and play and participate.
He gets out and does a few things. In fact, until just a few years ago, he played with our brass choir there at Fort Hays, and he's conducted groups recently. And of course, your ears are always there. He's always at our programs, always at our concerts, listening and giving us some great feedback and encouragement.
Well, Lane, I'll be more excited when I get to the gym next time to watch your group specifically. I've seen them, I enjoy them, and it's just fun to have that type of music, that type of encouragement for our teams and for those who are in the stands watching the marching band and the basketball band.
Well, like I said, they're just a great bunch of students, and they're a lot of fun to work with. And anytime that you can have a job where you enjoy going to it just about every day, it's a good thing.
Hey, it's a great program here on the Forum. Our guest has been Lane Weaver. He's the Director of Athletic Bands at Fort Hays State University. Thank you for joining us. The program is brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle Communication, our community connected.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.